Good evening and welcome. Thank you for spending some time with me. This week's Parsha, Vayishlach, I want to read you the opening pasuk, which everybody probably knows, but let's read it. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanov el Esav achiv artza seir stay edem. Yaakov sent malachim. Who are these malachim? We've been introduced in Sefer Bereshis to so many different malachim. We know the malachim who came to visit Avram Avinu. They were called Anoshim at that point. We have Yaakov Avinu having dreams about malachim when he sets out on his journey. He sees malachim when he's coming back from Lavan. Who are these malachim? So Rashi tells us, malachim mamish. That means if I just read the pasuk, the word malachim to me would mean emissaries. He sent dignitaries a delegation. Think about it, right? You want to make a peace treaty. You want to avoid war. So you send a delegation of diplomats who know how to negotiate and work things out. But here Rashi says he sends malachim mamish, real malachim. And everybody raises the question, what gave Yaakov the permission to use malachim? But more than that, let's say he had permission somehow. But, why does he send malachim? Why did he need to have malachim? What was the point of using angels at this point? So I want to share with you two ideas. One is the Shemi Shmuel brings from his father, from the Avnei Nezer, who quotes the Medrash, that the job of these malachim, their mission was not to negotiate a peace treaty. Their mission was to inspire Esav and get him to do tshuva, to bring him aboard. That's the only way Yaakov could have peace with him. If they both were on the same page, there would be harmony and peace with Esav if they both came to the same avodah. Believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom, do the right thing, and that would mean having to change Esav and really put him through a real program of recovery. That needed malachim mamish, the Avnei Nezer says. Based on that medrash that he wanted to make him do tshuva, who's going to be able to do that? The best kiruv professional in the world couldn't get Esav to do it. For that, he needed a malach. But I want to share with you another idea. What's happening here? What's happening here is that Yaakov wants Esav to know that you want to have an encounter with me, you want to have a relationship with me, I want you to know who I am. Before we enter into any kind of discussion about a possible relationship, a brotherly relationship, you need to know who I am, what I've been through, what I've accomplished. And therefore, Yaakov sends him malachim. You know these malachim, because the pasuk says he sent malachim lefanov, in front of him. Obviously, the malachim are going. These malachim are the malachim that we, every time a Jew does a mitzvah, does a positive deed, he creates a malach. These malachim, I like to call it, these malachim are our reputation. They precede us. By Yishlach Malachim Lefanav, the Malachim go before us. Malachim that Yaakov sent, this is not a literal Malach that you send. What it means over here is that Yaakov's reputation preceded him. And our reputation is based on what we do. Every time we do something, we create a Malach. And that malach becomes our emissary. That malach becomes our reputation. People get to know us by what we do and what we dedicate our lives to. And in fact, as the next pasuk says, that Yaakov tells Esav, "Im Lavan garti," and Rashi says, "I lived with Lavan under very harsh spiritual conditions, but garti, taryag mitzvahs shamarti, I did the taryag mitzvahs. I am committed to this lifestyle." And to this way of living. It's not just a lifestyle, it's a way of living. It's a belief that motivates, drives me day in and day out under the most difficult of circumstances. Physically difficult, spiritually difficult. I am rock solid in what I believe in and how I live my life. And if you want to have a relationship with me, that's who I am. So by Yishlach Yaakov Malachim Lefanov, Yaakov made sure that Esav knew about his reputation, about who he was. And now, if you know that, now you want to talk, you want to sit down and talk, I'm ready to talk and figure out if we can have a relationship based on who I am and what I believe in. So that's two ways how to understand this pasuk here. One other little tidbit it says that when the Malachim came back, they told Yaakov, we met Esav, and he's coming towards you with 400 men. And all of the Mefarshim say, and Yaakov immediately was terribly frightened. And the Mefarshim say, why? Because they told him he's coming with armed soldiers. He's coming to battle. But it's interesting, the Rashbam says that they told him he's coming with a parade in your honor, 400 men to parade in your honor. So then why was Yaakov frightened? So the Rashbam says, because he didn't believe them. Well, I want to ask you something. If he didn't believe them, he told them, go talk to Esav and see if we could, not fight. And they come back and they say, yeah, Esav's not fighting with you. In fact, he's coming in your honor with 400 men with a parade in your honor. There's no war. Everything is good. It's all good. Yaakov doesn't believe them. So if he doesn't believe them, then why did he send them in the first place? If they come back and say there's going to be a war, okay, I'll get ready for war. They come back and say there's peace, and he says, I don't believe them. And he got very frightened. Why did he get very frightened? Well, the answer is, I think, if they would have come back and said, look, we sat down with Esav, we had 24 hours straight negotiations, one team after another team, we conquered all of the issues, the water rights, the land rights, we went through it, we compromised, we figured out a solution. Yaakov would have said, okay, is it signed, is it legal? I'm ready to go. But when they come back and say, oh, Esav, he loves you. He's coming with a big parade, 400 people, he loves you. That he knows can't be. So when you overdo it, he knows exactly what that means. And that means that Esav wants to come and trick him. You want to come for war? Come for war. You want to come in peace? Come in peace. You want to come, well, they call the Trojan horse. You want me to think that it's peaceful, and then you're going to stab me in the back. That's already Vayira Yaakov Ma'od. He was very frightened. But let's review what we talked about tonight was why Yaakov sent Malachim and he used real angels is because these angels are the angels of his reputation, of his good deeds, of his commitment, of his dedication. And it is the reputation that precedes us. Have a good Shabbos.